Hello, and welcome to Check It Out Comrade, an indie game podcast where every 2 weeks we bring you 2 indie games and tell you what we like about them. I'm Nick Lauber.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this week we're doing A Good Snowman is Hard to Build and Jazzpunk.
Yeah, and Nick, tell me about A Good Snowman is Hard to Build.
Yeah, sure. So A Good Snowman is Hard to Build. It is a puzzle game created by 3 guys, Alan Heselden, Benjamin Davis, and Draknek. Guys who they didn't put any. They just came together to make this one game. No company name they've decided on for their collective here. And it is essentially just basically the cutest Sokoban puzzle game there's ever been. You play as a little demon monster guy who's all black, and he just likes building snowmans and then naming them and hugging them, and it's really cute.
It is very cute. Yeah, it's got like this really relaxing, cute soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Roth, who is the guy who did the Yogg, did that. And it is basically it's Sokoban with the twist that you're building snowmen. So you have a big boulder, a big snowball in the bottom, medium snowball in the middle, small one on top. And when you push something through snow, it gains size. If it's small, it gets medium. If it's medium, it gets big. And it's just managing that around obstacles and sometimes limited snow, sometimes with more snow than you want.
Right. And limited room space in order to manipulate these snowballs around. Yeah,
and like park benches and planters and the like.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game that I feel like is aesthetically like super strong.
Yeah.
But is a genre that's never worked for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, that obviously, it's a simple Sokoban puzzler. It's obviously nothing that I go seeking out.
Yeah.
Sokoban's not exactly my forte. But
tell us about I know what Sokoban is.
Yeah.
But tell people who maybe don't know what Sokoban is.
Sokoban is typically just a rock shifting puzzle, wherein you have perhaps only the ability to push rocks and you need to manipulate them into a specific pattern or into an orientation in order to solve the puzzle. And there's a lot of variants on it. This is obviously one with just the tiny tweak of it being snow and the snow building up. But it's, very, very simple puzzle type game that's been around for a very long time.
Yeah, the title Sokoban was originally like a Japanese game.
Yeah.
By the name, and they were originally boxes.
Yes.
And you run into this all the time. Like there'll be a lot of like little Sokoban mini games in any game that has the ability to push boxes.
Yeah.
So there are like Sokoban segments in the early Tomb Raider games and in Zelda games and such. And then there's also variants on it. So like Eggerland or The Adventures of Lolo for the NES is essentially a Sokoban game.
Mm-hmm.
Where the principles are the same. You need to avoid... You can never pull, so you need to plan your moves around that, not push your item up against the wall, because at that point, there's a point of no return. And one of the nice things about A Good Snowman is that it's very friendly. It has like an undo that's in discrete units and a really quick restart. So it has some of that kind of indie game, iterative Meat Boy, Hotline Miami user friendliness. Yeah. So you can easily do it over again, but like I get to a point where these games where I just like I get angry.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't, but it's just the fact that it's like, and I get a sense of satisfaction. Like the aha moment is real.
Right.
For me, and everything in this game seems to be combating you getting angry. Like it's so beautiful. It's super cute. The sound's really soothing. The color palette's really gentle. It has those little ease of use features, but Sokoban is just like a kind of puzzle game that ends up infuriating me.
Yeah. Like
eventually.
I think my main problem with it is there's never been any game I can think of that does a Sokoban puzzle with a reward that's worth it.
It's always more. Yeah, it's always just the next level. Like it is the point of the game. It's not. Yeah.
So I want to, because you can't like iteratively build too much, whereas like you're gaining abilities or something from doing these. So the fact that it's a super simple puzzle, and if you like puzzling stuff out, it's such a good recipe for a simple puzzle type that can get really difficult really easily, and has super iterative kind of pieces in between in difficulty. It's so easy to ramp up the difficulty, ramp it back down again, but there's just not enough there for me to hold on to.
Yeah, unlike it's the smallest discrete unit a puzzle game can be, but it doesn't act as an ingredient in anything else. Like in other games where it shows up, it is a discrete, like, oh, this is the room where I have to do Sokoban puzzles.
Yeah.
It's never integrated into other gameplay. And it's not like, when you say like roguelike elements or RPG elements or something elements, you can't have like Sokoban elements.
No.
To
you can
a
have
game.
a
As far
Sokoban
as
section, and then you're just doing Sokoban.
A Sokoban game.
Right.
And there are a couple, this has the snow building thing. Eggerland has the thing how you have to use enemies as blocks sometimes.
Right.
So you can add a little bit of complexity to it, but after a certain amount, like it just kind of breaks down and doesn't work. So they're just like these very like discrete logic puzzles. One of the interesting things about Snowman is that it's eventually going to come to iOS and Android, and I think it would work really well there.
Yeah, it feels like a mobile game.
Yeah, like that's a good platform for this, I think. Just like real simple swipe controls. All you do is move in 4 directions. That's literally all you have to do. And that kind of bite size, like I just want to solve a puzzle while waiting for a bus.
Yeah.
It would work, but it still feel like it wouldn't be my first choice. Like I would still rather like solve like these kind of like very pure puzzles are not always my thing. Like I prefer something like a Layton or something like that.
Right.
Like, a little bit more complexity or variation. And the thing with Good Snowman is one of the presentation things is that you start off seeing a very small part of this park. And then as you move on, you unlock branching paths. Like, again, that's one of those ease of use features. Like there are you usually have a couple different puzzles you can work on. You're never just at one roadblock.
Yeah, so you're not aggravated into trying to find the solution for this one. You can go do something else and come back to it.
And what that meant for me was that eventually I just got aggravated of trying to find the solution to these 2.
Yeah.
Or these 3. Like I still got
right.
pissed. I just like got to each of them. I didn't play this for very long and I felt kind of bad about it. But I was just like, it's so evident what it is.
Right.
Like it's just like, this is what this is.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful thing that's not for me.
Yeah, I kind of we don't usually have much to debate around like price point. We, you and I are a lot of like, if you enjoyed it, it's worth whatever price it costs.
Yeah.
But this for a $12 game, it isn't very long, and it is just increasing difficulty of the same very basic puzzle type over and over again. I definitely do think the price point needs to come down, especially when it comes to mobile. A 99-cent game for this would be amazing.
Yeah, I think you could go a little bit higher than that, even.
Yeah, $12 is a little bit
$12 is a little steep, and it's like a lot of love and craft went into it, but the love and craft just went into the aesthetics part of it, and it kind of makes it a little bit like a and that stuff is great, and that can be worth it to you, and if it is worth it to you, I wouldn't argue you out of that, but I agree. Like I had a feeling that like this was like not for what I was getting out of it, not really worth my money. Like a $5 game.
Yeah.
Like this could be a premium iOS thing, like a $4.99 game, and I'd be pretty into it. Because it's not without joy. And if you're like I hate, it's a dumb cliche, but like for fans of the genre,
right.
It is a really good execution of such, but like it felt a little bit like a pretty expensive thing that wasn't very fun to spend time with.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer because I do like the music. I do like the visuals. I do like, naming the snowman. I do think it's really cute.
That is really cute.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate it for what it is. It's just not my wheelhouse.
Yeah. And the next game, so that's probably about all I have to say about it.
That's it.
That's about all there is to it. Like I'm on their webpage right now and there's literally a GIF that they have that explains the game perfectly. And it's just like a, 7-second looping animation, but it's like, oh, that's this game.
Yep.
Like it is an easy game to encapsulate. A harder game to explain, and a game that I also had kind of mixed feelings, but we'll talk about is Jazzpunk.
Yeah, so Jazzpunk, the developer is Necrophone Games. This one came out earlier last year, so this is a little bit older of a game, but yeah, so this is a very interesting game. I don't think these guys are really known for much more. The game was published by Adult Swim Games. It's available on Steam for all 3 of your desktop OSs. But yeah, so it's a first person adventure game, kind of a little bit of open roam, that is highly emphasized on weird comedy.
Yes.
And kind of references and a bunch of hidden stuff. I think that's the only real way to explain it.
It is ostensibly an adventure game, but it's an adventure game with almost no puzzles, no fail states. And the appeal, like the idea, there's like kind of twin appeals to it. Is like one is this like surreal kind of narrative, and 2 are the the jokes that are in it. And like what it's trying to do and we'll talk about how successful it is in a second, one way or another, which like, I don't feel like this is without value. Like, I'm glad I played it, but the, is trying to have jokes come at you with the kind of speed that you don't need to worry about them. I guess like it's constant, like it's a constant barrage of things.
Yeah.
So you get like worn down. Like I started off like playing, like I found this weirdly exhausting for being a really short game. Like I was just like, by the end, I was just like, I started off kind of like, that's not funny. That's not funny. That's not funny. And then eventually something happened that I thought was kind of funny. And I was like, okay, now I'm kind of on board. And I was on board for a little while. And then the game kind of keeps going. And then by the end, I'm just like, when will this nightmare end? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it is a hard, like, what is the point of this? Like, what is this? Like, I just had this weird, like the individual units, like there's so many things in it that I think are supposed to be jokes that you can't really describe as jokes. They're like animations. Like there are parts there where it's like a toy.
Yeah.
Like if you click on this stove, you get to see this thing happen. And I would say like 80% of the content is not interactive in a way that's meaningful. It is, click on this widget to make it do an animation that's kind of surreal.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what really to compare it to. Like there's games where they do that but there's like it's on top of something else. Like I'm trying to remember these like row flash games where like the puzzle is essentially like which two things do you combine or what order do you do these things in order to get to the final stage. But each time you combine something, you get like some animation, maybe some little joke or some reference or something. There's a whole bunch of these Grow games that were all done by this one developer for a while.
What are you saying? Bro games?
Grow, I think. Let me see if I can remember them.
Grow, like GROW?
Yeah. Yeah, they were these games done by iMaze or iZmaze, EYEZMAZE, and they were real popular for a while. And I've done a few of them. It looks like they're even still doing them, but that's essentially, it's essentially this sort of appeal, like the seeing stuff happen appeal, but with the actual game around it to a further extent, with an actual like goal in mind, I guess. And this is kind of just the see things happen for a few hours thing.
Okay, yeah. Exactly. Like it's non-interactive in a way that I feel like is more acceptable and friendlier to me when it is either making a serious point, like i.e. Gone Home, or making a being funny, but also making like a point at all, i.e. the Stanley Parable.
Right.
Like this is the closest thing it is to 40 Flights of Loving.
Right.
But it's, it's 2.5 hours of 40 Flights of Loving, where that game was like, oh, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a big 40 Flights of Loving guy either. Like that game is overrated as shit. Like I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Oh well, and then like just moved on. Like,
right.
I don't think that game's very, very good. But this is definitely stretching it further while still having like some points that are kind of higher points.
Yeah.
Then,
there's
like,
individual jokes in here that I actually really like. Like, Wedding Cake is hilarious.
Wedding Cake is very funny. Like, let's talk about Wedding Cake a little bit.
Okay. So at a certain point in the game, you is it on the beach where there's a wedding cake?
No, it's earlier than that. It's the level beforehand, I think.
So you find this wedding cake, and it has like a computer screen on it, and when you go up to it and interact with it, you can play a Quake clone called Wedding Cake.
With a Q.
With a Q, where it is essentially a Quake clone, but everything is themed around a wedding, and all your weapons are wedding cake related. Yeah. And, like, as a gag, that's pretty funny. Like, it was pretty well done.
And it is... you have this little bar in the upper, or like log in the upper left that's saying like kill streaks and stuff, but you marry people.
Yeah.
When you kill them. So they're just like names of people. They're just, like, Mr. Destructo married X Death. And that's very funny to me.
Yeah.
Like that was very good. And I really liked Wedding Cake. And that's probably the most robust gameplay thing in the game. Like it's not a great Quake clone.
No.
Like it's kind of slow and shitty.
Right.
But it is genuinely a funny joke. The part in the game where like that actually kind of, I was like, okay, I'm into this, happened in the first mission where you go to a place and there's a fire alarm But then next to it, there's an ice alarm, and if you hit the ice alarm, fire just rains from the ceiling, which is like, okay, that's goofy fun. Like, it has a little bit of Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Especially like the body gross out stuff. Like a lot of people, like you'll walk up to somebody and they'll be like, shave me. And then you get this little Ren and Stimpy ass looking hand controlling a razor, and you just have to click all his stubble.
Right.
You know, it has like a little bit of like a Ren and Stimpy sensibility to it that I do like.
Yeah.
It just kind of like, I think that this is the kind of thing that is a joke that can't go on this long.
Yeah. Yeah, this would have done better as a 30-minute flash game or something, I think. There's individual, I don't know, maybe as like episodic sort of flash,
I was just about to say, like, even timed releases, like, give me a month between playing these and I'm probably ready for more.
Right. But as one solid piece, it doesn't say anything. There's no collective portion to, like, there's nothing that this all comes down to that would make it worthy of being one solid game. Like, if it's just going to be these individual set pieces, then release it as individual set pieces, I think.
Yeah, and there's probably all kinds of like hand wringing where you could say like, the point is that there's no point.
Right.
You know, the point is that it's a surreal thing, which, like, you know, fair enough, but like that, it reminds me of like the guy everyone knows in high school who's like the monkey cheese guy, you know, like the midgets on crack.
Penguin,
like
Penguin of Doom.
Yeah, exactly. You're just talking about something and they're like, then a bunch of midgets on crack come in. And then it's like, okay, you know, like there's no response to that.
Yeah, let me whip out my spork real quick.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that's exactly it. You know, and there's no, this game never quite gets that bad, but it kind of achieves that through volume. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's not. You're right. That's a perfect description of it. I think it's not as high school hot topic random weirdo bad, but the pure length that it goes to just runs so dry.
And the gag per minute, like, which you'd have to do because it's not like you can have downtime in this game,
right? You
know, like you have to constantly be barraging the player with this stuff. But again, like the only word I could come away from it with is exhausting. Like, I'm just like, ugh.
I will say one thing though. So I have one very positive thing to say about Jazzpunk, and that is the trailer they made for it was fucking amazing.
I didn't watch the trailer for it.
You need to watch the trailer. It's super good. It's like live action and it's really like cyberpunky and great. In fact, like I want you to watch that now just so I can edit in like you talking about it because it's good.
Okay. I like how he gets the little paper cutouts of the hand.
Yeah.
So like he uses those in the game and they're exactly the same. Like the idea of him using that instead of his hands.
That was one running gag I liked a lot, actually.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like the setup for the game.
Yeah.
There's also, it's showing things that I definitely didn't see, so I wonder if I missed some stuff.
It's a lot of things. There's
that's pretty good.
Of just random shit to do.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Yeah, like as a 2-minute, like it almost has the same tone, right? It's like, but as a 2-minute video of that sort of gagginess, it works. As a 3-hour slog through that much gags that often, it runs real dry.
Yeah. It just it never gets truly bad, but it never gets great. And the moments, like I can count on one hand the number of jokes that really worked.
Right.
And the when it starts getting like gamier near the end, like you start doing kind of more mini games and more things that are other than the wedding cake.
Right.
It's like I got weirdly mad because I wasn't speedrunning, like we're covering it for the show, so I wanted to see everything. But they were slowing things down in a way, and it felt obligatory.
Without any point to, like, that doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, I don't know. There's also a weird sense of self-satisfaction in the game too, that is like this, aren't we goofy?
No,
that like,
it's exactly that high schooler thing.
Yeah, exactly.
About. Like a friend of mine describes it as really try-hardy.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I can, like, they're putting in way too much effort.
Has there been like t-shirts or anything that are Ed try hardy?
I don't know. There should be. Yeah. Can it just be like can that be the Jazzpunk like t-shirt line? Can it all be characters from?
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what, that might be all we have to say on both those games at this point.
Yeah, it is not. It's weird though, because it's like I feel this weird desire to like, because there are things I liked about it and I wanted to like it because I like these no fail state exploration games.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't work for me.
Well, and yeah, it's not something I dislike really. Like there's nothing offensive about this game. I just don't really, it didn't strike the right chord with me, and I wouldn't recommend it so much as just like, here's a game.
Yeah, I think if it was like, if you could play it for very free, it might be worth checking out. Game.
If this was Bubsy 3D.
Oh yeah, shit, there you go. Like cut the length in half and put it online. You know,
yeah,
which I
think Bubsy 3D is brilliant, but yeah, it's like
tell developers what to do, because these guys put a lot of work into it. They deserve to make money
right
off their labor, and we are in a minority in not liking it. Like it has pretty good reviews, so like I'm not telling them what to do, but for it to work for me,
right?
That's what I would need.
So
you can, again, just real quick. I'm not trying to draw this out any longer than it needs to be, but like to compare it with the Stanley Parable, which is like another game. Like I love the Stanley Parable.
Yeah,
it could be not for somebody. Think about the demo for that, and how that was a perfect, like amazing slice
right
of what that was. Like this game, because it has nothing to say, needs to be as big and as high quality as that demo.
Yeah.
You know,
it could have just been that length.
Yeah, and that would have been excellent. Like I think we would have been singing a very different tune.
I agree
about it. So
Bubsy 3D is the same
exactly,
like thing I can really think of. Like that's it's just a gag. It's just exploring this gaggy thing, and then there's furthermore to like open world elements of exploring further gags, but the required length to reach the endpoint, if you don't want to explore all the gags, is too long.
Yeah, and when I hit that point of resentment, each individual gag like started making me angry. When they like, it was like, oh, I found a turtle on the beach. If I click on it, it gets some Ninja Turtle gear. Great, I remember Ninja Turtles. Like, good job, Jazzpunk. Like I just kept like that. Like, good job, Jazzpunk. Was the thing I kept adding. So it's weird. Like this is weirdly one of the most negative episodes we've done.
I know,
but I will say, like, I think A Good Snowman is a good game. Yeah, just not for me. I think Jazzpunk is kind of a bad game dressed up as a game for me, and that kind of hurts worse because it seems like something I would like.
Yeah,
you know. Anywho,
so I want to say one thing real quick. I promised Brayton I would bring this up, that he mentioned that every single episode we've done for a while has had at least one game that had something to do with darkness or the night or without being sun. And this is the first time we've broken that streak, and it's with games that we became overly negative about.
Yeah, we have to get back into the darkness. Like what can we do? We'll do like, you know, Painkiller Black. and like I don't know.
Obviously, that's the way to our hearts, is just to have your title be something bleak and dark.
I can think of games I really like that aren't bleak and dark, but just like not recently.
Yeah,
the whimsying that's been going on lately is not my favorite thing.
Nope.
So we're like somebody gifted me that domestic dog simulator game that Bray was also telling me about.
Yeah, Bray was just talking about that too.
So yeah, somebody gave it to me, which is very nice of them. A long way down is his handle, and it's very nice of him to do so. But I'm scared because I don't want to be mad at the whimsying. Like I also am aware of our grimdark tendencies, and like I don't want this just to become like, you know, that like Jazzpunk is that annoying monkey fish cheese kid, and we're like the goth Eric Draven figure, like shrugging our shoulders at him as he like rubs a spork on us and like, I don't know, like tries to loan us Invader Zim DVDs. Like, I don't know.
We're sorry for this hate fest, guys.
Yeah.
We apologize.
But have you read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac? Like, which like, I was that guy. I read that in high school. I liked it. But the I don't know. I'm old. Yeah. No, I don't. Anyway. Anywho, yeah. Thanks for listening to this annoyed screed.
Yeah.
And next time, let's make a concerted effort to make the next time we do something, have it be both simultaneously not grimdark and then
something we
also
like.
Something we like.
Okay.
So that's our vow to you. If you want to listen to us talk about things that are not dark, and that we like, next episode is for
Next
you.
episode.
This
37.
episode, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But episode 37, lucky 37.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
You could
your
skip
time to
36 if you want. I mean, you've made it this far, so I guess you didn't really skip 36, but...
Yeah, exactly. If you're just working your way from the end backwards, just to see if we shat on these games full of magic and whimsy. We did.
Yep.
I'm not particularly sorry.
I'll apologize. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Gary won't, but I will.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, next time we'll do Penumbra and Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
No.
All
right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Like us on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
And rate us, review us on iTunes.
And Twitter. And
Patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
I'm sure you can
guys
find
remember.
us.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.